Now, we are in the eye of the storm, and this is coming from Flynn's Twitter page. He just changed it to the eye of the storm, which means the first part of the storm was the deep state, where they pushed this event, fear, panic, chaos. Trump and the patriots, they knew this. They knew the playbook. They used this to their advantage. Transition the economy. Set the entire plan in motion. Now that we're in the eye of the storm, we have the back part of the storm. The back part of the storm is stronger. It's more fierce. It hits harder like we've ever seen before. And that part of the storm right now, it's here. And it's hitting hard. We're already starting to see sealed indictments become unsealed. We see the declassification of footnotes in the IG report. These individuals, the mainstream media, you name it, they're all going to feel pain. We're going to be talking about this in just a moment. But first, let's talk about what is happening here. It seems that the Democrat senators, they want to fill the bill with funding for the mainstream media because they're looking to get quality news out to the public. Really? Is that really what they're trying to do? Of course not. The mainstream media, they're losing a lot of money. They need to launder a lot of this money. They need to pay those individuals that they put into place. And they just don't have the funds. We have Schiff. He's creating a commission reviewing Trump's coronavirus response. This is going to go nowhere. This is going to be a big fail. He's going to have problems of his own. But even if it moves ahead a little bit, what are they going to find? Oh, they're going to find that, wait a minute, was coronavirus as big as they said it was? Or was there more fear and panic? And was this a planned event? No matter which way he looks, he's screwed. Why? Because we had A.G. Barr out there, and he was talking about John Durham, the probe, and he says, we're not dealing with mistakes or sloppiness. He says there's something far more troubling here. He's saying that justice is going to prevail. And Durham, he's not issuing a report. He's coming out with indictments for criminal activity. And we're already starting to see this happen. Don Jr. tweeted out, AG William Barr says Russia probe was started without basis. And the Patriots, they have it all. Durham has it all. Now he's going to be using the IG report and everything that was done before, and they're declassifying the footnotes. He's going to connect that with the criminal activity. And it is happening right now. And what about Flynn? Well, it seems that Flynn's case is completely falling apart. Remember, we had Covington, who was not really defending him. They had connections to Eric Holder. And the new Flynn filing, Flynn's former lawyers have found emails and 2 pages of handwritten notes that were not previously transferred to Flynn's new counsel. This should have been produced last summer. What does that mean? So Covington, while they're defending Flynn, they didn't do any of this. To defend themselves, they found the documents. See how this works? The whole thing is falling apart. Now, if we look at the event, we can see that the players that were supposed to do certain things for the deep state, for the corrupt politicians, they're being exposed. Let's take a look at Michigan's Governor Gretchen Whitmer. She is banning people from traveling. They're arresting individuals. She's also the one that made Karen Whitsett, a Democratic lawyer, beg for a hydroxychloroquine. And when she got it, she felt a lot better. What's happening right now is people are starting to realize we don't like this type of life. And they're starting to stand up to these governors, mayors, and other deep state players that are locking down the states. Remember, Trump has never locked down the country. He allowed the people to see certain individuals lock down the states, cities, and whatnot, because this is how you expose them. Do you like this type of life? Do you like what they're doing? No. Maxine Waters, she is panicking right now. She said that Trump cannot wipe away the history of his pandemic failure. Well, Maxine, wait until he produces evidence that it was created and pushed out into the open by corrupt politicians, deep state players, those invisible enemies. And Fauci and others, and Bill Gates, they're all trying to push tagging people, having people have papers. Fauci says, yeah, we're looking into certificates of immunity, and you might have to have a piece of paper going around saying that I'm immune. Bill Gates, he wants a vaccine tracking system. Trump is against all of this. He keeps saying, well, we have to look into this because, the Constitution, we do have something called the Constitution, and that just doesn't seem right. So we need to look into it. It's his way of saying, listen, that goes completely against the Constitution, and we're not doing it. The fake news media, they're continually putting out fake stories over and over and over. CNN decided to put out a fake story even when they were told it was fake. They put U.S. intelligence agencies started tracking coronavirus outbreaks in China as early as November. Now, Jeff Carlson tweeted out, the Pentagon told CNN this was wrong. National Center for Medical Intelligence told CNN this was wrong. A DIA official told CNN this was wrong. Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, John Hyten, did the same. The Office of DNI did the same. CNN ran the story anyway based on sources. Who are their sources? How many did we just list right here? And then the Office of the DNI came out and said, we told CNN earlier today, this story contains inaccurate information. Who are their sources? They made them up because all the sources are saying it's fake. The fake news media was just exposed to the world once again. And then we have Hollywood actors and actresses with their messages that are going back and forth. And this is very interesting. This is Madonna, and she was putting out a video like she normally does, and many of these Hollywood actors and actresses do this. And she panned to her computer keyboard, and it says, lock Q, which means they follow Q. They don't like what Q's putting out there. They want Q to be brought down. And it's not happening. They are not in control. Now, yesterday, we talked about what happened on January 15th. We had the articles of impeachment. We had the first Chinese individual that came from Wuhan into the United States on January 15th. And Praying Medic also pointed out that on January 15th, Trump and China signed the Phase 1 trade deal. This all happened at the same time. And we know that Trump and the Patriots, they're planning something. There's a mission going on. We know that there's an enhanced narcotics mission going on, which just doesn't have to do with narcotics. It has to do with many other things. But very interestingly, we still have the Comfort and the Mercy. They're still there in ports, and there's really no patients on these ships. Actually, all the makeshift hospitals that they created in the Central Park, they're empty. Now, another reason why the Comfort and the Mercy are physically there, they're blocking the escape routes out of the tunnel ports. Remember, military security protect the boats. They're watching the entire area. And very interestingly, Twitmo inmate noticed something from Trump's tweet. This is Trump's tweet. The White House press conference will take place at 1 p.m., recognizing that it is Good Friday. And by the way, Good Friday to everyone. The timestamp is 10:35. The date is April 10th. We know that 4/10/20 is Donald Trump's initials. And 35 points us back to that post that I've been reading. POTUS will be well insulated, protected on Air Force One, where they're going after deep state players. We've also noticed that during his presser today, he said, I can listen to about 35 different people. There's that number again, which is very interesting. And then we have Cowboy W2B, Notice that the picture in post 1123 contains D5 in the file name and has a 2-year delta today, April 10th, 2018, which we've been following, those posts in 2018, and it has D5 and has the military surrounding POTUS. And it says message, Bolton cleaning house. Out they go. A clean house is very important. D5, avalanche. Now, Enoch noticed something very interesting, that there were 17 retweets by @RealDonaldTrump to begin 4:10:20, followed by a normal tweet at 45 minutes into 4:10:20. So 17 equals Q. 4:10:20 is DJT, as we know, which is the 45th president, POTUS. And when you look at it, it's all pointing to today. And then the last tweet that he retweeted, it says, thank you, Aaron. President, and this is what Aaron wrote, President @RealDonaldTrump is showing what true leadership looks like. The American people support him and his leadership. Now, yesterday, Q posted out post 3925. And in this post, it says, do people really believe the biggest scandal in modern U.S. history will go unpunished, scot-free? Well, scot-free is White Squall Production Company. Where we go on, we go all. They're on the ship together through the storm, working together through the storm. And in this post, we also have Patriots stand at the ready, shills wine. Well, just remember shills wine for a sec, because this is what Q posted today. Patriots, be cautious in your interpretations of info posted. False expectations, and this is in brackets bold, and push based on speculation will only weaponize those who attack us, mainstream media. And that's mainstream media in brackets and bold. Why does the mainstream media expend resources daily attempting to discredit? Do you provide the playbook to the enemy with specific dates? Logical thinking. FISA indictments equals start, public justice. Then gave us a link to Merriam-Webster dictionary to find start. Well, there's different definitions, but I think this one, come into being, activity, or operation. And the first definition is to move suddenly and violently. So declassification of 4 mysterious footnotes from IG's FISA report is imminent. Future proves past. Events are going to start to unlock. Think CEO departures, FBI departures, Department of Justice departures, State departures, White House departures, DIA departures, Pentagon departures, Senate departures, House departures, Ambassador departures, IG departures, Judge install, Supreme Court install, White House install, FBI install, CIA install, Department of Justice install, U.S. Attorney install. Remove the blocks over these 3 years and installed the people that are going to do the proper job of following the Constitution when we bring these people to justice. Then there's 16 dots, and under it says game theory. If you look, you can see. Now that's very interesting, 16 dots. So let's go to post 16. This is October 2017. Get the popcorn. Friday and Saturday will deliver on the MAGA promise. POTUS knows he must clean house, government in order to free up and demonstrate who has authority in order to pass important legislation. This was always the priority. Remember, AG Sessions cannot look like an impartial player that is out to get all former Obama team members as we need him for other important work. All will come into focus, and for anyone to think POTUS is not in control is kidding themselves. Also, he's 100% insulated with zero risk of impeachment. Fact. So it looks like everything's starting to happen. A lot's happening today. Then Q posted out 3930. This is a Twitter link to LLMCL, and it looks like this individual said, congrats, DJT just retweeted you. And it says, happy Good Friday. So Q responded. Post 3931. It's a Twitter link to Secret Agent. It says, be cautious in your interpretations of info posted. QAnon, so glad he finally said this. I've been seeing the wacky conspiracies, number counting, etc. get way out of control. The movement is being discredited by the irrational speculation. Let's work with what we have. And I guess there are people out there saying that there are arrests happening, there's this many people that are coming in, and all these other things, which we haven't seen any evidence of that as of yet. Let me continue. It says the credibility of our institutions, constitutional law that governs our great land, our republic, and our ability to regain the trust and faith of the American people all depend on our ability to restore equal justice under the law. And that's in brackets, in bold caps, by prosecuting those responsible. Blind justice. That's in brackets and bold. Treasonous acts, seditions in bold brackets, against the republic, the people, brackets bold, of the United States, start, lead in, brackets bold caps. Infiltration, rogue, at the highest levels of our government, media corps, etc. Planned and coordinated. DF, foreigners, Democrats. This is not about politics. Something far more sinister, evil, and evils in brackets and bold, has been allowed to flourish throughout all parts of our society. It has been protected and safeguarded. It has been camouflaged to appear as trusted. It has been projected, normalized by stars. Class 1 through 99. One must only look to see. Symbolism, and this is in bold and brackets, will be their downfall. This is not another 4-year election. Be on your guard. Stand firm in your faith. Be courageous. Be strong. You're not alone. We stand together. Now, very interestingly, now in post 3932, Q tweets out Technofog. So an Anon put this up. It's a Technofog tweet, and it says, declassification of IG report footnotes. Crossfire Hurricane Team had multiple reports disputing many material claims of Steele and his dossier and warning of disinformation. Now below this, it says, the public will learn the truth. The media will attempt to spin as a partisan attack. The House will push for Barr removal. The House will open investigations into Barr Durham lack of confidence. Full disclosure, D-Class provides truth. D-Class is in bold and brackets, and that's all in caps. Full disclosure, D-Class provides truth. Foreign cooperation provides truth, all caps. What happens when the core media knowingly pushes false propaganda information? Well, they're complicit in all of this. And they're pushing propaganda, fake information on the people. What happens when the core media can no longer be trusted? They lose everything. The silent war continues. ... What this really means is they knew those individuals that were pushing the investigation, the mainstream media, who were going to try to cover this up, they knew the Steele dossier was likely Russian disinformation. They hid that from the FISA court. And they got the FISA warrants. That was hidden. They didn't want them to know this, but they knew. Think about what just happened here. Full speed ahead. Post 3933 gives us a Twitter link to Gregor's for USA. It says, even though we all expected it, John Solomon just confirmed second ago on Sean Hannity's radio show that multiple D.C. grand jury subpoenas have been issued on behalf of U.S. Attorney John Durham. Grand jury subpoenas right now are being unsealed, which means it has already started. This is not about writing a report with Durham. This is about arresting individuals. Then Q gave us post 3934. These are placeholders. Indictment tracking. Non-civil. Set 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blanks. So it's line 1, line 2, line 3, all the way down to 6. And under this it says, placeholder, indictment tracking civilian. Placeholder, acts of treason plus support articles. Placeholder, foreign acts. Placeholder, FISA. All of this today. I do believe the eye of the storm is now passing, and that brings me to General Flynn. Today on his Twitter header, he put a picture of what looks like the moon or the sun behind the clouds. This is the eye of the storm. He got this photo from an individual who took a picture in the UK. It was Storm Sierra, and this was the picture this individual shot. So this is the eye of the storm. Trump then tweeted out, "The invisible enemy will soon be in full retreat." The hunters have now become the hunted. And Trump gave a presser today, and boy, these pressers, he is educating the public on China, the economy, border, human trafficking. And he mentioned something about human trafficking. But first, he also mentioned something about the hammer. Take a listen.
Built those hospitals in 12 states and the District of Columbia using the Defense Production Act, and we used it like a hammer. A lot of the media said, oh, we weren't using it. We used it like a hammer, to a point where...
The hammer, it's about to come down. And this brings me back to post 3173. It says all of us have been antsy for the hammer to drop. But we will remember this time, the time before we knew the next big scene. This is historic. This was back in March of 2019. Q said, "The calm before the storm. What happens when a blockade threat is dismantled and removed? You'll find out. Children used as shields, manufactured crimes of perjury. Fire at will, Commander." Then Trump, he was talking about human trafficking. A reporter asked him a question about the blockades, that ships are being checked, and he really went off on human trafficking, that it's worldwide. He said something so ancient you wouldn't think it was happening today, and it is worldwide. It's mostly women, and it's awful. Take a listen.
And what we're doing is we're being very tough, and we're being tough because of drugs and also human trafficking. And remember, the human trafficking is mostly females. It's mostly females. It's horrible, and what we're seeing is horrible. But you have we have a human trafficking problem worldwide, the likes of which, you think of it as an ancient thing. It's not ancient. It's bigger now than it's ever been before over the last 10 years because of the internet. The internet made human trafficking to the extent that it is now, which is massive. The internet made it so big. So we have a big naval force that's stopping. So maybe when you mention that, maybe the ships are getting caught. But we are stopping a lot of ships, and we're finding a lot of drugs.
And this brings me back to post 586. This is January 22nd, 2018. It says, "We haven't started the drops, re human trafficking sacrifices yet worst. Those good who know cannot sleep." Actually, Dan Scafino Jr. showed a picture of the White House with the lights on where Trump can't sleep. He also said in his presser, he has trouble sleeping right now with what he knows. The good who know cannot find peace. Those good who know will not rest until those responsible are held accountable. Nobody can possibly imagine the pure evil and corruption out there. Those you trust are the most guilty of sin. Who are we taught to trust? If you are religious, pray. 60% must remain private, at least, for humanity. These people should be hanging. And then during the presser, Trump said something very interesting, that he has a very big decision and it's weighing heavy on him. And he hopes to God it is the right decision. And he just didn't say this once. He said it a couple of times. And the big decision brought me back to post 738. This is February 2018. And it says, "Understand one simple fact. The U.S. is connected to the rest of the world. Knowing that, understand by default, if certain intel is released, it would cause a worldwide mass suffering. We share the idea of open source, but value life and must make base decisions on outcomes and containability." So I do believe Trump right now, he's weighing this decision right now of what comes next. And it seems that the back part of this storm, it is now hitting. Indictments, they are being unsealed. Durham's investigation is being produced. The footnotes are being declassified. Those individuals that used to call the shots, they are now scared. They know what's coming. pain is coming. And I do believe a lot more is about to hit.